Hello, everyone. You're very welcome to our TIP conference. We've been having an amazing time, and it's just going to get really better. Our last speaker was just blew our minds away, and it was quite an emotional one as well. And we're following in the same vein as well with our next speaker. But before we do that, we're going to take one testimonial from the TIP Inner Circle. Please stay tuned.
Hi everyone, my name is Maume Ajoke Tunde Balogun. I joined the Inner Circle in January 2021. Before I joined, my emotions was all over the place. I could shout and yell so much. No defined structures, no routines, no limits set for my daughter. 6 months down the line, I can make bold to say yelling has reduced drastically now. Structures, routines, and limits in place. I have read 6 books and currently on the 7th. Wow! In which we've had powerful reviews week in, week out, month in, month out. Beautiful. I have been able to build a daily affirmation structure for my daughter, built great esteem for her, honed her reading skills, that we now have a budget for books monthly that currently seems not enough again. Very interesting, and I'm enjoying the beautiful ride. Our family mission, vision, tagline was created, and we're working seriously to achieve our set objectives for the year 2021. I am so confident in discussing issues of LGBTQ, porn, and have sexual conversations which have yielded beautiful and meaningful results between me and my 10-year-old daughter. The Inner Circle has taught me how to make monthly targets, themes, and break it down weekly, daily, and set timeline for achieving them. I am confident, yes, really confident of raising a balanced child with all the webinars, group chats, discussions, and general relearnings happening to me in the Inner Circle of TIP. Thank you, Coach Wendy, for making this happen. I wouldn't have thought I would be able to achieve all this. Yes, join the Inner Circle. We others. Now we the win.
That was an amazing testimonial, and I tell you, the Inner Circle program is one to be in. It's the go-to for 2022. As Coach Wendy will say, she doesn't take students at the middle of the term, so 2021 has closed. We're going to be introducing our next guest, Coach Tega Omogo, and before we do that, we'll just hear a bit about our speaker. Please stay tuned.
Tega Omogo is a visionary who is extremely passionate about the next generation and has a burning passion for behavioral change. She is an author, a transformational speaker, a life coach, a substance abuse counselor, an interventionist, a mental health practitioner, and teens mentor who uses her past experiences to help mold every youth she don't told the path she did. She attended Ahmadu Bello University and is studying guidance and counseling at the University of Abuja. A certified therapist with the US-based Timfa Group, she is a SOPCA certified mental health first aider, an emotional intelligence and anger management coach, and a certified graduate of the Transformers Leadership Academy. Tega is a project director of Back to Light Foundation, which is aimed at helping drug abuse victims go from active addiction to sobriety, alongside health experts to sanitize the environment one youth at a time. She organizes school and community outreach for educating, sensitization, and empowerment for after-school life in the FCT. She believes that the youth is the strongest resource of a nation, and education is the passport of the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. She is also the lead coach at Tega Omogo Consult, which trains, equips, and empowers teens and young adults with life and social skills to keep them balanced in their mental health for optimal living. She has spoken on several platforms like the 2019 FIDA Africa Regional Congress, including being interviewed on various stations both locally and internationally, and twice by the largest Christian TV network in Africa, Christian Broadcasting Network CBN, on their famous program, The 700 Club. She is also a business owner and lives in the city of Abuja and is married. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome to the 2021 Intentional Parent Conference, Tega Omogo.
I felt like giving a round of applause myself. Well,
Hi, Ose. Good to see you.
hello, Tega. We're very happy to have you. We've had an amazing day, and I know you're just going to take it higher with letting us know is my child at risk of drug addiction. So take it away. You're welcome.
So I'm so grateful to be here today. Thank you so much, Wendy. Thank you so much to all the people in the intentional parenting group. You guys are doing amazing. Like many times I go in and out of the group and I see a lot of things that people do. I see what Wendy's doing. Coach Wendy, you are doing amazing. God bless you. May it count for you in eternity. Really, people don't know that parenting is actually ministry. But they think that until you're standing on the pulpit with a microphone, that's when you're doing ministry. But parenting is ministry. If you can hear me, I'll be glad if I can get some form of feedback so that I know that I'm not on my own in this chat. Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Tega Omogo. All the things they said there, I was clapping for TIP because I was trying to understand if they were talking about me or they were talking about someone else. Good to be here as always. Good to be here as always. Now, drug use is something that we need to talk about a lot more. Thank you so much, Coach Wendy. Good to see you, ma'am. Drug use is something that we need to talk about a whole lot more because as much as people like to say that, thank you, Gift. Good to see you too. As much as people like to say that drug use is not something that is so rampant, is not in our society, I will be very happy to bust your bubble. It always makes me happy to bust that bubble because we are not talking about it does not mean that it's not happening. It is something that is so deeply rooted in our society at the moment. As one, like my bio said, I do quite a lot of school outreaches. And one of the things that we started in recent times was, establishing drug-free clubs in schools. Hi, Onyinye, good to see you. One of the things we started to do was establishing drug-free clubs in schools, just to make sure we're giving the right messages, teaching them leadership skills, teaching them to build their mental muscle, to be able to help them. Now, in the last one that I went to, in the last school outreach that I was in, we wanted to do secondary school. And I had sent one of the members of my team to go to find out, what it would take because, different schools with their different requirements for coming to their school to come and give your talk. So I wanted to know what it would take for me to come to the school. So I sent a member of my team to go there and find out. When she got there, they told her that they didn't mind us coming to the secondary school, all right, yes. But what they wanted us to do was talk to the primary school students. And I said, no, ma'am, I am talking to secondary school. The reason I want to talk to secondary school students is because I know where my own, addiction started. I know how it started. I know what age it started. In primary school, I was just a happy bunny. I was just going around the place and being a very intelligent child. But yes, we know that there are vices that have been introduced based on maybe there are older people in the family that probably, experimenting with drugs and then children get to see. But the woman kept insisting that, no, we should please talk to the primary school. And then I told the team members, like, okay, go back there and ask her exactly the reason why you want us to talk to primary school students. And she said, as young as primary 3, they are already bringing alcohol to school. Now, drugs, even alcohol is actually, substance, is actually a substance, is categorized under drugs. alcohol is categorized under drugs. So we'll just say substance use here. Now, they say primary school students bring alcohol to school. They bring alcohol to school during exam. They're trying to help themselves stimulate their brains. Unfortunately, they don't even understand that in the categorizing of drugs, alcohol is a depressant. So if alcohol is a depressant, how is it supposed to help you? How is it supposed to help you in getting yourself together for school, for exams? So I told the teacher, the head teacher, a bit more that, okay, are you sure that these are primary school students? She said yes. Now the thing that happens with them is that they come from the primary school with all of the substance use, then they graduate into the secondary school. By the time they get into secondary school, their case is very, very irredeemable. And you see, I was listening to David. David is my brother, by the way. David, you did an amazing job. Well done. Well done. You're doing so good. We've done quite a number of work together, and he's blazing hot. Good, good. Well done, my brother. Now, one of the things that we realize with these things is that if you don't nip it in the bud early, you are at risk of having a bigger problem. And then addiction is something that when you've done it over a period of time, you develop tolerance. You need much more drugs to actually get you to the same form of high that you were at some point. Now, is your child at the risk of drugs? I had a session today with someone, and then he keeps minimizing. Minimizing is when you want to downplay the amount of drug use that you're using, and that is normal with most addicts, most drug use victims. They say we shouldn't call us addicts anymore because it's derogatory and they like to be included. Those are one of the things that make it look like we're stigmatizing against them. So one thing that is common with drug use victims is minimizing. They're either in denial or they're minimizing. Minimizing is, oh, it's not such a biggie. I can deal with this. I can find a way to, stop this if I want to. I'm not addicted. Now, knowing that you're addicted is another thing. Now, when I got to this school, if many of the teachers knew what these things are, the teachers can't even approach the parents to tell the parents that this is what is going on. Many times our parents are not talking to their children. You are talking at the children and you are talking to the teachers. Now the teacher is going to tell you what you need to hear so that they can get what they need to get out of you. So when you want to talk to your teacher, talk to your child. Talk to your child. Listen to what your child is not saying. Many times we are listening to what they're saying and listening to respond. You are not listening to react. You should not listen to react. Don't listen to respond. Don't listen to react. Listen to understand. And most importantly, listen to what they are not saying. Because the children know your language. But do you know their language? One of the things that I realized with this boy I was having a session with today is that he's actually a pampered child. Young boy. In his early 20s, pampered. He came in his parents' old age, same as me. I'm the last child of 8. Now, he gets away with everything that he wants to get away with. Parenting styles. I've realized that parenting styles have also aided drug use in their children. If you want to know if your child is at the risk of being a drug user, check if your child gets away with murder. Now, I know a mother that had a child. She waited 20 years. No fruit of the womb. Then she finally had the child. She had, I think, 2 marriages. And then she finally had the child. This boy got up to age 18. Because it took her so long to have this child, she allowed him get away with everything. So when you are a neglectful parent, you are putting your child at risk. Or when you are in your mind, you are actually just allowing him get away with it. We know what the parenting styles are. We know how all of us think that, okay, no, I cannot do I can't always be the parent that beats my child. I'm not saying anybody should hit their child at all. In fact, hitting is abuse. As far as I'm concerned, there is a way to effectively communicate with your child and you will get the best out of the child. There's a discipline that works. Flogging has never helped anybody. Most times, where you find the parent that flogs too much is the authoritarian. And if you don't know how to be the authoritative parent, you will lose your child. Now, the neglectful parent is the parenting style, is the one that is putting their child at risk. The indulgent, the overindulgent parent is the one that is putting their child at risk as well. When you are overindulgent, now this is what happened with the woman. She just allowed the boy get away with everything that he needed to get away with. At some point, she said to me, I knew this boy was doing drugs, taker, but there was nothing I could do about it. And I asked her why. And the reason why we got into this conversation, by the time I met with her son was already dead. She didn't call me by the time her son was alive. I had met her only after the boy had died. She just said, I kept seeing what you were doing on social media and I thought to reach out to you and tell you thank you. Because if I had seen some of the things that you have been saying now at the time when this boy was dealing with drugs, I would have known what to do better. But I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to talk to. But I just thought if I confront him, I will push him away. And that hurts me. Because when you are thinking that you cannot have a conversation with your child, you are putting your child at risk. You're putting your child at risk. You should be able to see the signs. David talked about quite a number of signs. When you see the signs, speak. Now, this boy I was having this session with today, when he came to meet me, he kept saying, well, I just told them what I wanted to, what they wanted to hear. They said I should come and do it, so I'm doing it for them. And I told him, I'm sorry, sir. You need to you want to do this for you. Because for as long as you keep saying, I want to do this for them, you are not going to make any changes whatsoever. He's a last child and his parents are overindulgent. I asked them today, I said, is it possible to have a meeting with you and him? I don't want to be with you alone. I don't want to be with him alone. I want to be with you and him. And the mother said, okay, no problem. When it was 11:45, I put a call through and I asked her, so when are we going to see? Are you on your way to me? She said, he doesn't want us to come. So I don't think we should come. You just have the meeting with him. When you finish, and I just knew exactly what her parenting style was. And I didn't say a word. And this is the reason why the boy keeps going. He keeps pushing the boundaries. He keeps pushing the boundaries. He knows what they want to hear, so he tells them what they want to hear, especially when you are a parent that is a Christian. These children understand Christianese, but do you understand their own language? Back to the school matter. Now, these boys, as young as 8, we now had, in UNODC, I'm a UNODC trained drug use counselor. So when they want to teach us, when we go for these trainings, they tell us that we shouldn't tell the children what drugs they are that are available on the streets. So because of that, we can't outright tell them that these are the drugs. But what I do is that I ask the question outright. And I ask you, do you know what drugs are? Now, I did 2 sessions. I did a primary 4. I started from primary 4. I did primary 4, then I did primary 5 and 6. Now, in primary 4, these are 8-year-olds. Many of them are 8, 9, 10-year-olds. But I did primary 3 as well. Now, when I was talking to the primary 4, if there were 400 students I was speaking to at the time, when I asked about drugs, because we had to tell their teachers to please go. When we asked about drugs, there were only maybe 2 or 3 that actually said Panadol and vitamin C. The rest of the crowd, they were echoing cocaine, crack, codeine, marijuana. Now, when you're talking to children, I'm not talking about secondary school children. When you're talking to children, you ask them stuff like, do you know what marijuana is? When you ask them, they will tell you marijuana. They don't even know how to pronounce properly. They will tell you marijuana, or they will tell you weed, or they will tell you Igbo. These boys and these girls were shouting marijuana, as in they were pronouncing it properly. So they knew what they were talking about. Now, guess what hits me the most? All of them kept saying that. And so I asked another question. I said, how many of you have ever been asked to use drugs before? And then I had the most heartbreaking session ever. More than half of the crowd. And these are primary 4 students. Now, out of that set, we separated them. Then I asked another question. Out of all of you that have been asked to use drugs, how many of you have tried it? A few of them raised their hands and said they had tried it. They told me the effects. Okay. Out of all of you that had they told to try it, how many of you told your parents that they had told you to do drugs, that somebody had given you drugs to use? All of them, nobody raised their hand. All of them said, no, I can't tell my mom. So I'm asking, why didn't you tell your mom? And then what did they say? My mom will overreact. My mom will shout. My mom will take me to church. They will take me for deliverance. They will beat me. They will do this. They will do that. So true. Now, when I say this thing and I say that children have problems and their problems are valid, trust me when I say so. A 3-year-old has a problem. Maybe it's biscuits that is his problem. A 10-year-old has a problem. Maybe it's just to, have nice clothes to wear for a party. That's their problem. A 14-year-old has a problem. She has a crush in school. A 19-year-old has a problem. He wants to get into university. All of these problems in all of their levels are valid. But when the 19-year-old thinks about the 11-year-old's problem, he thinks that that problem is not a problem. So I want to have a conversation with you. Mommy, I want to tell you something. Daddy, I have something to say to you. I beg you with everything that you own and that you own that is dear to you. Drop everything and listen. Because the internet is helping us already. The internet is helping us in a very nice way to expose them to a lot of drug use. The internet is showing them that this thing is not a big deal. Right now, we have more people saying they don't want to go to school. We have more teenagers saying they don't want to go to school. Why do we have to go to school? We don't need to go to school to have money. So there is a reorientation that is going on in the minds of the Gen Z. And to parent a Gen Z, you must be ahead of them all the time. Now, if your child is one of those kind of children that love to please other people, is a people pleaser, your child may be at risk of drug use. If your child is one of those that needs to be, to be put every time is looking for how to be occupied, I'm bored, I'm constantly bored, I'm bored, you need to look a bit closer. If your child is one of those that is a pleasure seeker, you need pleasure seeker in the sense that you're constantly looking for a good time, that's dopamine rush. You need to look a bit closer. You need to help them channel this pleasure seeking into more healthy ways, because you are putting them at risk if you don't guide them right. Parenting is coaching. Parenting is helping helping your child navigate through life. So if you don't, you might be the push call or the pull call, and the push coach or the pull coach. It depends on your style of parenting. But most importantly, cover all your sides. Even the Bible says, when you have done all, stand. When you have done all, stand. Now, one of the things that I know that happened with me, I've shared my story quite a few times on the TIP, but let me just talk a bit here for people that haven't heard my story before. I'm the youngest of 8. There was not a thing that I needed that I lacked, because I came after such a long time. And I mean, my mother was quite wealthy. My father was the academic one, book smart man. My father was, in fact, until now, this writing that I'm always writing stuff, I got it from my father. The man was just book smart. My mom was the street smart one, enterprising here and there. My mom lived in the UK after she had me. So now, at some point, I really felt like, if you really loved me, and they said you wanted a girl to be your last child, and then I came after 5 boys, that means that, love should be different. But I didn't feel that love from them. But now, a few times, though, in retrospect, I'm thinking about it, a few times, I think I probably tried to tell my mom at some point that I'm not happy. But because they are thinking that I'm doing everything for you, I'm giving you everything, I'm working so hard so that you can have everything, they didn't listen to me. They probably just looked at me and said, I beg, do you know how busy I am? I need to rush to the market. I need to do this. Because my father, like I always say, was the one that would tell you, if I'm putting a roof over your head, I'm paying your school fees, there's food on your table, you better worship me. My mom was the one that would say, okay, no, we need to travel abroad. We need to go for party. We need to wear nice clothes. And she had, having 8 children, it was not a joke. So she needed to put in all she could. So she left for the UK. So I was staying with my sister. Now, because I knew that I was overly loved, overly pampered, I went to stay with my older sister because my mom had to go to the UK. So in staying with my sister knew that I was pampered. And so she needed to, reset my brain a few times. So they used to slap my brain, not slap the brain outright, but just slap me to getting myself right. And I felt hated. I felt unloved. I felt rejected. Now, this rejection stemmed from, oh, my mom, I thought you said you loved me. When I tell people that I have trust issues now, well, not now anymore, they laugh at me and say, yeah, my trust issues started from when I was younger. If you say you love me, why did you leave for the UK and you left me alone? Then you left me alone, and then all of a sudden, I'm with my sister. I was never flogged or beaten by my parents, not once. Not once before I lived with my sister. My sister beat me well. So I felt unloved by my mom, rejected. Then I felt rejected by my sister. So when I now met friends that were doing drugs, that were offering me marijuana, offering me pills, offering me alcohol, I felt loved and accepted. When you have a child that is clingy, that is constantly trying to get your attention, get your love, and all of that, please help, guide, pad through life so that they are sufficient for themselves. Those things follow through into adulthood. When you are making things over available for your children, especially material stuff, you are looking for trouble. I'm not saying that if you can afford stuff, you cannot give them, but can you help regulate how they use what you make available to them? I had a boy that I was speaking with. He had been to rehab 9 times. And so I consulted from one rehabilitation center. And so when I was there that day, he came in for his session. And then I asked him, so why what's the reason why you keep going in and out of rehabilitation? I mean, this is in 6 years. He's been to rehabilitation 9 times. He keeps going 6 months, 3 months, thereabout. And then he said to me, when your account is credited with 10 million naira every 2 months, what do you do with the money? His boy, at that time, he just turned 21. 10 million naira, for the love of God. That is their own level. His father is they're monarchs, but that is on that level. On our own level, when you see some kind of things that you're overindulging your children, when you see a child also that has low self-esteem, that child is at risk because you are looking for how people will accept you. You are looking for how people will want to, anything to make you feel like you're bold. So watch out for your children's behaviors. Watch out for their behavior, their friends. When you see the kind of friends that your child is going with. One of the things I always tell parents also, when you see that your child has changed friends suddenly, what happened with the old friends? Then the new friends that they're going with, they are the ones that are carrying the iPhone 12. You know you cannot afford iPhone 12. You, the parents, you have not even finished, using the phone you are using. Let me not call any particular one. But they will now say all her friends are using iPhone 12 in secondary school. Your child, I'm not saying that there's any, if you can afford it, give her. But if your child is one of those that decides that they can't afford that, then you now don't put enough values in the child to know that, look, life is in stages. You will get to this place, you will afford it, and you will be able to do better with yourself. Anything you can do with your own money, by all means do. Yes, making things overly available for your children is asking for trouble. You must make them, understand that life is a process, because they say that we're in a microwave generation. We don't want to walk through anything. We don't want to, go through anything. We don't want to go through the process. Every time we're just thinking of quick fixes. Every time you see a child that wants to do shortcuts, you know that there are some things that you need to look out for. Now, back to the school. So when I talked to them and I said, okay, so why wouldn't you tell your parents? And they said their parents overreact. Overreacting is a problem with a lot of parents. And that is why this TIP actually makes a lot of sense. Because you will learn how to have emotional intelligence. You will learn emotional intelligence as a parent to know how to help your child, to know how to react when they bring to you. Because in emotional intelligence, for instance, you have to pause and think before you act. Because most times what happens with our parents is when you hear it, you go off. If someone comes to you as a drug user, your child comes to you as a drug user and says, Mom, this is what I'm going through. I'm doing drugs. Can you help me? Most times the first thing that the parents will say is, you have ruined me. Do you know what people will say? How did you get here? My village people are after me. that is the worst response you can ever give. That is the worst response you can ever give. The best you can do is actually say to your child, how can I help you right now? Because the truth is, they are trapped in a dark place in their mind and they can't get out. That's what addiction does to you. It traps you in a place. I was talking to a client and he was talking about Colorado. Colorado, that's marijuana use. He said he's living a lifetime of a madman's life in 30 minutes. Living a madman's lifetime in 30 minutes. You can imagine what that is. Having to take that. And imagine that he took it in the house. Now, this is what had happened with him. He needed to, and now the worst part is that Colorado doesn't smell. So you will not even smell it in your house. Your child may be smoking Colorado in the house and you will not even know. Because they found ways to actually mask this thing. They found ways to use other things that make it not smell. Marijuana smells is the one that if you even light it, even if you smoked it yesterday, your hair will still be smelling of it, your clothes will be smelling of it, but Colorado doesn't smell. So your child may be using Colorado and you will not even know. So what are one of the things that you can do to help your child make sure is to allow them be themselves, allow them take responsibility for their actions, allow them understand the processes of life, teach them from now. You educate yourself first of all, and when you have educated yourself, begin to have this conversation, have teachable moments. Teach your children first, because if they, and don't, many times when parents hear some things, the first thing they tell you is they start to show you pictures of mad people. Your children know that it's not only mad people it's not all mad people that is from drug use. They know a lot of functional addicts, and it's the truth. There are a lot of functional addicts. That is what I was for quite a number of years. 13 years of addiction, I was a functional addict. I did all the things I was doing. In fact, at some point, I realized that I was slipping into psychosis. When I knew that I was slipping into psychosis was one day I had washed my clothes. I put them outside, and I was trying to pack my clothes. And then it was raining, about to rain. So I packed my clothes, carried it, and dropped it on the floor in front of the door. Then I went inside and I still slept. Then I woke up when the whole thing had cleared and I saw the thing in that place. And I knew that, okay, something was wrong. The day after, I was arranging my shoes. I put one leg of blue, one white, one blue, one red, one black, one brown. I put all of them next to each other and paired them up as if they were a pair. I looked at the shoes again. And then I realized, I said, this girl looks like you're going mad. Then I started laughing at myself. Then I quickly rearranged the shoes. I started wondering who is watching me. I was slipping into psychosis. And the thing is that in all of these 13 years, nobody knew anything that I was doing. Nobody, not a soul, apart from my friends, the friends I was doing it with. And this is something else. I had different friends for different. There were some friends that, we just hang and gist and play. There's some friends that, we talk many, irrelevant stuff. There were, because at that time it was irrelevant, but then it appeared like it was relevant. Then there are friends that that you're doing the things with. You always knew where to go to. You always knew the people to hang with. How do you know what your child is up to if your eyes are not like a hawk on your child? So what are the signs to look for? I tell people every time, when you see that now these days, even like I said, Colorado doesn't even smell. So you can't even say, they are overusing perfume. Yes, overuse of perfume is a problem. When they're trying to mask a smell, you know that, there's something going on here. Why are you constantly using perfume? Why are you using so much perfume? That's for the one that's probably using marijuana and does not even know that there are different variants of the marijuana that he wants to use. Now, another thing that I know that's going on is a lot of edibles. When you see that they keep they're always going for house parties. And it's one particular person that is always doing this house party. Where are you going? I'm going to Tega's house. What's happening? The Tega has a party. Tega is always, how many times does Tega turn 20 in a year? Do you understand? You need to also know your friends, your children's friends. Not because you are trying to, you're not because you're trying to monitor them necessarily, but because it is important that you know who their friends are. It's because you want to know when to look for them, when you need to look for them. You want to know who their parents are. Stop allowing your children make friends with people that you don't know who their father or their mother is. Anybody that has no accountability, that you cannot find who they're accountable to, is going to put your child at risk. Because anybody that is without accountability is a time bomb waiting to go off. So you must know your friends, your children's friends, and know who their parents are. You mustn't be friends with their parents, but know how to be able to navigate through. Now, I had a case, this was early this year, yes. Now, the boy I had worked with before, then the other one I just started working with recently. Both of them, the one I had worked with before, he was doing pretty well. Now, this new one, we thought that he was going to, he was relapsing. But this one had perfected the act of hoodwinking everybody. How bad his case was. Now, this other one, somehow these two boys connected. And that is something that always breaks my heart. When I went to see one of them, I realized that they were friends. It was a red flag. I should have alerted both parents. But I thought, well, let me give them the benefit of the doubt that we have taught them and we expect that they will do better. Biggest mistake. These two boys got into so much trouble. Before you know it, they started stealing. In fact, what had happened with them is they got into an Uber. As they were coming back, they didn't have money. They went to get high somewhere. One of them had stopped. The other one made him get back into using. When they were coming back, they used the Uber. They didn't have money to pay for this Uber. When the Uber stopped, I think his car was overheating. I don't know what they thought they would do when they get to their house. Now, the unfortunate thing is with Uber, you have to say what your destination is on the app. So the driver knew where they were going. So he stopped at a very busy area to put water in his radiator. As he came down, one of the boys looked and saw that there was money in the car and told the other one, we don't have money to pay this guy. Let us run from here. That one said, okay, let us run. The other one said, okay, if we're even going to run, let's take his money and run. That's how these boys stole money and went. By the time they left, the Uber driver comes back into his car and finds that the money has gone, the boys have disappeared. He didn't say a word. He just knew where they had put in the app that they were going to. He went there, parked his car at a distance and waited for them, got the police. So that's how they arrested these two boys. Thankfully, one of the boys, his parents decided that I must meet the other boy's parents. That is how they now went there and he found his son. Meanwhile, he had been looking for his son for so long. That's how he found them. Many times, when you don't know your children's friends, how do you know how to find out where they are in case they run out of the house? So this is how they found the boy. And then I told the dad, I said, I should have spoken out when I saw his association with this boy. Because this other one, his mom, in fact, had told herself she doesn't want to have anything to do with him anymore. That hurts me. I love those two boys like my sons, really. Really love them like my sons. Now, you must know who your children's friends are, because it helps you to know how to find them if anything happens. Now, when they use perfumes, excessive perfumes, you need to know. Also, when you see them constantly with Vicine, what are you using Vicine for? You have eye issues. Vicine most times is to clear the redness of the eyes after they've smoked. Also, when you see that they're hiding, they like a particular hangout in the house. You're spending too much time in the bathroom. You're spending too much time at a particular location in the house. You know that there is a problem. You know that there is something that they're doing there. Constantly checking their phone, you find out that, their codes. They're always using codes. They're always, oh, I'm running here. I tell people, when you see Mary Jane on your son's phone or your daughter's phone, Mary Jane is not her friend in school. Mary Jane means marijuana. So when you hear stuff like that, Charlie is not his best friend in school. Charlie is cocaine. So there are quite a number of things that there are street names to all of these things. They'll put all of those things together. Who would wink you? You will just think, oh, they're being young. I always say this. Not everybody will experiment, but most children experiment. And when they experiment, nipping it in the bud is what helps. Because when they experiment, if you are not open, back again to effective communication, if you're not communicating with them. When they have had their issue, they can't run back to you to tell them that this is what has happened, because they know you're going to overreact. So when you see that they have a particular location that they keep escaping to, when they have a particular friend that you don't understand. And the thing about parents is that God has put something inside of us, which is like the sixth sense. You always know when something is off, no matter how much a child pretends. Your child's friend, you may be blinded by love with your own child, but you would see the one outside. I mean, it's normal. That's why the Bible even says, remove the log in your eye before you take out the speck in another person's eye, which means that you actually see the speck in someone's eyes. For the Bible to say remove your own before you take that one out, you always see. So when you see that other child and you are not sure what it is, you know that you need to actually, take a bit more, be a bit more careful. So those are the things that I know that you need to look out for. And then also, like I was saying, when you see that there are unexplained absences, you can't account for your time, you can't account for money, you can't account for gadgets, things are getting missing in the house unnecessarily. You need to look out for these things. How can you have a child that will just disappear from the house for 2 days and you can't reach him, he's not reaching you, nothing? What's going on? So we need to, you not just say, oh no, he's with his friend, I'm sure he'll come, he will turn up. No, he won't turn up. As long as he's under your roof, he's still your child. And this is something else that, when we now start to say, I'm allowing him, is a teenager, let him go. I'm not saying you should cover them and trap them every time, but I'm saying, even as you are letting them go, do you know that they still want you to be their parents? As much as they will say, no, don't be around me, don't be around me, they want you to be their parent. Their soul is crying out for you to come and notice them. And this is one of the things that I know that happened with me as well. I was really searching for how someone would notice me and say, what is going on with you? But I couldn't come out myself to say, I am going through this and I need help. Because nobody starts out in their life wanting to be a drug user. Nobody whatsoever. When you start out your life, you just think you can control it. The first thing that comes to your head is, I'm experimenting. I can control this thing. I will be all right. I'm just having fun. Then after a while, you sleep so low. You sleep so low that you can't even get yourself up. You are stuck in your mind. You are in that place of pain and despair, but nobody is seeing that you are crying out for help. I know children that have come to me and say, help me talk to my mother, help me talk to my father. I need to get out of drug use. But when we come to the parent, the reaction just spoils everything. I say to parents, do you know that even you as a parent, you are a trigger to your child? You are a trigger many times to the children, because the way you treat them makes them decide that, look, I can't do this. Now, I have this girl I'm working with. One of the things that she said to me is she doesn't want to be friends with her parents because they were not friends with her when she was younger. So I explained to her, I said, well, your parents can't be friends with you as you are younger. They need to parent you. Now, the difference about that is that parenting as an authoritarian and as an authoritative parent is different. It's easier for you to become friends with your child if you're authoritative, because you know that there are boundaries. You let them know what the boundaries are. You tell them what it is that needs to be done. We know that there are repercussions for mistakes that are being made. We know that you will take responsibility for the things that, every action that, you make. But when you have gone from authoritarian, then later in their older years, you're not saying, no, I want us to be best friends. It won't work. It will not work whatsoever. So that day, something had happened with her mom. And then it got so bad, and she called me and said, well, I'm going to smoke right now. And I said, you have done so well for 4 months. We have worked for 4 months. You have done so well. Why do you want to throw it all away? And this is where my case is a bit different. I let them know that, come to me. It doesn't matter when you feel like using, how you feel like using. In fact, many times they will call me and say, I'm on my way to go and buy right now. This is what has happened. And I'll tell them, okay, where are you? Where can we meet? Can you come to me? Can I come to you? So she called me and said, I'm going to smoke right now. And I said, no, you've done so well. Why do you want to do a thing like this? And she said, my father is frustrating the life out of me. And right now, I don't care anymore. This is what I mean by parents can be a trigger to their children. Now, I want to talk about a party that one of this same girl went to. She had come out of rehabilitation center, and so we were doing follow-up, back to back aftercare. And then the next thing, she goes for a party. She had told me about someone. When we're having these sessions, I ask you intimate questions, and you tell me who are your triggers, because triggers can be people, places, or things. So I'm asking who are your triggers, and then she calls some names, and I'm like, that's okay. So I know these names. So that day, they came to her house, and some of her friends, they were hanging out, but she was fasting. I put her on a fast. And so she was fasting that day, and so she couldn't eat the things that they had brought. Like like David said, they bring them on dispatch. The dispatch riders come to the house now and actually deliver drugs to children in the house. They deliver brownies to children in the house. Anyway, that's aside. So they brought it to the house, and I think they couldn't get her high. Now, the thing is, when they say hurting people hurt other people, high people like to get other people high. Nobody wants to be high on their own. They like that cruise. In their mind, they say, we're catching cruise. All of us. How can you, only you just be, you're sober. Let all of us catch this cruise. What's the problem? Don't ghost on us. So they couldn't get her high that day. Whether they were testing, I think they were actually testing to see whether she had really, left drugs. Because we always tell them, when you know that people who and what your trigger is, who, what, and where your trigger is, we tell you 3 things. Avoid your triggers, interrupt your triggers as well, or you can do a mental switch. Now, that day, they now invited her for a party. She didn't tell me about this party before, because if she had told me about the party, I would have told her very quickly, don't go for this party. It doesn't make any sense. But she said she just thought it's harmless. It's okay. She had finished the fast that I placed her on, so she went. Now, when she got there, remember I said that triggers can be people. She saw this boy, and as soon as she saw him, the first thing that came to her mind was, this boy, anywhere you see this boy, any party you see this boy, you know that there's problem. So she calls me immediately and says, I have seen this boy in this place. Guess what? In all of these things, her mother doesn't even have a clue what is going on. She said, I have seen this boy. And immediately my mind remembers that, oh, this boy is on the list of triggers, the list of triggers, because, we write your internal and external triggers. And then her external trigger was one of those people. So I call her and say, now get out of that place. She said, I can't, I'm afraid, I'm shaking. Now, when people are going to relapse, there are stages to relapse. When you go from your trigger to the thoughts, and the thoughts to physical reactions. And then she was already having the physical reaction because she has seen him. She had immediately, the thoughts had gone through her mind very quickly of all the things that have happened. Oh, how she used to get high, everything in seconds. You know how you can think it can go in seconds like that. So she had quickly gone through the thoughts like that. And then she says to me, I can't even get out of here. I said, leave there now, enter your car and drive off. She said, I can't drive. I can't, I'm afraid. I said, where are you? She told me. I said, get out of that place, start walking out. She went with a friend of hers. I said, start walking out of that place. As she walks out, I drive from my house late in the night. I go and pick her up and I take her home. She's literally shaking. The next day, I called to check up on her, and she says that she kept telling me, God will bless you. God will bless you for the day you came into my life. God will bless you for ever talking about drug use. God will bless you. And I'm like, what's going on? She said, because yesterday, thank you for coming to pick me. Let me tell you what happened. There were 30 of them in that party. That boy that she saw was actually the one, he's like a pimp. So he organized the party. They had paid him to organize that party. When he organized the party, the men that paid him to organize the party, they invited 15, 16, 17-year-olds, 14-year-olds. The oldest among them was maybe like 20, like this girl was 19-year-olds. Those were the people that they invited for the party. full-grown men, old men, that could actually be the fathers of these girls, came in there, girls and boys, and they raped every last single one of them in that place. Because as soon as they came in, they put on the table red cups, those red cups, that's red takeout cups. They put them there and mixed gutter water in it. What is gutter water? It's not the gutter outside. It's a blend of Chapman, codeine, heroin, I think cocaine as well, and codeine and marijuana mixed together. The effect of one does enough damage, and it does enough mind altering and mood altering, not to talk of the combination of it. That solution is what you call lethal. So they put it there, and then as you come in, you take a cup and you drink. She actually said she took a sip, but that she just told herself that she doesn't want to drink this, so she dropped it. She said she just dropped it. She doesn't even know why she didn't even want to drink it. So it is sweet enough. So people were drinking more and more and more. So they got them so high. This happened to me when I was younger. This happened to me in those my high days. The unfortunate part about that was I wasn't doing, I didn't stumble into those parties. We knew the parties that the boys used to do things like that. So it was free high. So you just go there, you drink your thing, and you know you are high. You didn't spend your money to do the high. But this one, the boy, they now spread the drinks. So when you want more, you go into the dispenser and take from the dispenser and drink some more. These children were drinking. This girl was afraid to tell her mother that this is what happened to me. Do you know that I was the one that had to give her mother the information that this is what happened to this girl? But she couldn't call you because she knows how you will overreact and talk about how the Bible says the soul that sinneth shall die. How you will, first thing that will come out of your mouth is, oh, you have made me ashamed. People in the church will laugh at me. How, oh, I am a deacon in the church. Oh, who have I offended? Can you parent first? Can you parent first? Just be there for this one that God has given to you. Imagine that that girl did not have me to call at the time. There was no accountability. There was no social support for her to get through her aftercare, after rehabilitation. That girl would have slipped back, and we will be talking about another story. So they raped all the boys and all the girls, and 29 of them. The next day was police, it was hospital, it was long story. Her friend wasn't talking to her for quite a long time. I had to get involved in that and tell the friend that, look, this is what happened. This is what happened. She wasn't thinking. She went to rehab and came out. So she needed to just get out. And I called her and I picked her. And in fact, she didn't even remember to call you. All of them were raped in that place. I beg you. When a child is saying you're going for a party, know who is doing the party. Not because you want to be a nosy parent, but because you want to be protective of your child. Because imagine the one that probably lied, or the one that could not tell their parent. Let them be able to tell you that, mommy, I don't know the person. It's my friend's friend that is taking me. You should be able to know where the place is. When you come to a place of trust with your child, the child will be able to tell you that, okay, this is where the party is in case of anything. But when the children start to hide from you, because they think, oh, my mom expects much more from me. My mom expects much more from me. You have actually put the child more at risk than you think you have protected them. Sometimes overprotecting is actually counterproductive. You must know when to strike the balance. This is why parenting coaches do massive. They teach you how to know how to strike the balance, how to be your child's friend, how to know when to parent, how to know when to be their friend. Because like I say, friendship is a tool in parenting. So you must have that balance. There is no one glove fits all. You must know your child to be able to know how to parent them and help them get through these days of drug use. Stop overindulging them. Stop being overly authoritarian. There's no need. Let it be your way or the highway, because they will run from the house. And then if you see a child that is constantly, even when the parent himself is the one that, I know a boy that his dad actually is a drug user. And then he started doing drugs. And then asked him, he says, so now you want me to stop, but I'm living in the house with my father who is using. How do I do this? His mom is the one that is dragging from that end. The father is on that end. So parents need to come together and have one voice in parenting and disciplining. I have less than how many minutes? 5 minutes? Okay. So that's about it. Yes, sometimes overprotecting is counterproductive. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's counterproductive. You must allow them make their mistakes, let them learn from it, and then you'll see how to help them. Allow them have their input as well. When we constantly try to do some kind of things and push them to a point where they want to run out, we have an issue. We have an issue. This is me, 11 years. This is my 11th year being clean. Somehow, I have stayed on the path of clean, and every day is recovery for me because I have gone through things that I know that at some point I'm thinking I want to find a way to escape because trauma itself is injury to the mind. How do you heal pain in your mind? You can heal a physical injury, but how do you heal the pain in your heart? So when your children are going through stuff, I beg you, in all ways, understand that their problems are valid and help them navigate through. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Coach Tiga. I mean, this has just been amazing. Thank you for all the lessons that you taught us. I mean, we've learned so much. My two biggest takeaways are the things that put children at risk of drug use. One of them is a parenting style, a neglectful, overindulgent parent, and the child's personality style, a people pleaser, a pleasure seeker, or someone who's always bored. This has been, I mean, sobering for me, but very impactful indeed. We'll give parents opportunity to ask people opportunity to ask questions, but before we do that, we'll allow you to take a breather, Coach Tega, and then we'll take a testimonial from the inner circle.
Hello, Coach Wendy Ologe. My name is Mrs. Bukola Rhodes Elizabeth. I live and work in Lome, Togo. I'm a Nigerian. I have 5 children, and I joined the inner circle precisely in March 2021, and that's about 5 months now. And since then, I've learned a lot. My testimony is this: that I'm a yeller, great yeller, but now my yelling has reduced to like 80% if I have to appraise myself. Secondly, my testimony is that for the past 16 years, for the first time, myself, my husband, and our children were going on a holiday to bond together. Then the lessons I've learned in inner circle is that I've gotten a better parental understanding and knowledge, and I've known that intentionality should be key in everything I want to do. Then I've also learned that I have to have family value, mission, and vision, and I have to follow through. Then why must you be in inner circle? Inner circle is a place to get information, time-bound information, knowledge, and to know that parenting is about you, parents, not the children, and also to develop yourself in the area of reading and reviewing after reading. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.
Wow, that's an amazing testimonial. In fact, I don't know which parent will not be in this inner circle 2022. Coach Wendy, the way we are going, we will make batch C, D, E, and F. But I think it's something worthwhile. It's amazing the things that we hear. So while we're waiting for questions, if you have a question, please just put it in there in the comment section and we'll be glad to take it. I saw one, but it wasn't really very clear. Someone asking about what is supposed to be the answer to such child, Betty Ifogali. If you could just make it a bit clearer so that Coach Tika could take that question, then we'll be glad to answer your question. It's amazing the things that we've learned today. Okay, someone is asking, my 10-year-old once asked me why school. This one sounds like a philosophical question.
Because truly, social media is making you feel like, the bulk of the end of thing is, why are we, why do we now go to school? It's so that we can go get a good job and then provide for all our needs. Yes, that's how it's. End product is so that you can take care of yourself. Yes, get a good job. So if I don't need to go to school and I can make money to take care of myself, why do I have to go to school? So now parents need to now understand the reason why they need to go to school and tell them why they need to go to school. If the parent himself doesn't know why school was invented, what do you now tell him? You now tell him, just go to school. Everybody went to school, be going to school. But you haven't convinced them. And if you notice, please, do you have a program for Abuja parents? We need it. Yes, we do. We always do have a program for Abuja parents. You can just contact Coach Wendy, and then we'll talk about this. What I just contact Coach Wendy. Yes, we have a program for Abuja parents, but it's not in my place to do that. It's her place.
Okay, so thanks so much. I mean, the education thing, you have to, yeah, thank you. Coach Wendy is up here.
Sorry, Coach Tega, please share about the program. Go ahead, please, by all means.
Hi, Coach Wendy. Good to see you. Okay, what is it for the parents now or for the children? Because I just finished one now. For helping them with substance use. Dave Ogogo, do you want to tell me if
So
it's for the
what
parents
do
or
you have? Just tell us what you have, the children, the program. I know you have
okay,
program for parents. I know you have program for children. Share with us.
yes, right
Or do we just contact you? Yes.
now, I have withstanding peer
Do you
pressure,
have one that
and
is upcoming?
yes, I have withstanding peer pressure upcoming. The flyer is actually supposed to go up tomorrow. I just wanted to get done with this
Okay.
and then put it out tomorrow. So it will go out tomorrow. It's in August. I'm trying to see the date now. I think August 17th. That's when we're having that program done. Yes. So that's one we have for children for now, helping them, because especially when they are going back to school, we know that many times when they are going back to school, it is always a problem. Now, in one of the schools that I know that the boy that I had a session with today, he went to Covenant, and Covenant University has a fantastic reputation for, the word of God, for, educational standards and all of that. But guess what? When I asked, I know quite a number of them that have that issue. When I asked, they said they find their ways. They always have their ways. How do you now help your child in a place where you know that people are finding ways to get drugs? How do you help your child say no when you are not there? There are children that when they want to say no, they'll first look at their parents' face. No. Let's get them to say no on their own without looking at your face. So you must teach them values. You must teach them, social skills. Okay, please, how do I stop drug addiction in an adult? 28 years to be precise. One of the things that I always say is that the person has to meet with professional help. I did not get professional help. I stopped on my own, but I would never advise anybody to do that because I felt very ill. I thought I was going to die. I really was ill. I thought I really was going to die. So it was not even funny at all. So you can also reach out to a professional. Either you get to a rehabilitation center, but most times I always say, get to meet a counselor, get to meet a therapist. If they can help you through counseling and therapy, stop the addiction, then that can help. But if they can't, they will most likely refer you to a rehabilitation or a psychiatrist to help with the medical part of it. My 10-year-old told me that when he was 3 years, my dad took him to buy a cigarette and the children. It's, how do I get this away from his mind? Wow. What you can do with this is what we do by letting them ask them the question. What, when most times when I start a session, one of the things I first ask is drugs bad? They will tell you, yes, drugs is bad. I'm like, so if drugs is bad, why are you doing it? And then they come to themselves. And then you see them actually go through a form of reflection. So you need to actually ask him what he thought about that thing. Ask him what he thought about the cigarettes. When you know what he thought about it, you will now know how to disabuse his mind, because it's actually disabusing his mind. That thing has left an impression in his mind, and you must find out what he thought of it. If it didn't make an impression on him, then you don't have any problems. Understand? But try not to overreact, because if he's afraid of you, he will not talk. If he's afraid that you're going to do something, he will not say a word to you. He will just look and think, no, if I talk, this woman she's going to use it against me 10 years time. No. So you just know that, find out what it is, what impression it made on him, and then you can now know if you need to, help him unlearn it, and then talk to him. It's a teachable moment. Then you can now tell him it's not a good thing. This is what it does. This is what it doesn't do. And I don't think they say in Israel, when you want to teach, they will say, look at this house. They say even the place where Judas Iscariot killed himself, that is still there. So people in Israel, they will say, look at where Judas died. They will tell you, look at the pillar of salt. look at this, look at that. It's things that you see with your eyes. Then you can now teach him. It's a teachable time, teachable moment. Don't even let it pass you by. My son once asked me why are boys treated differently and unfairly when the girls are the ones looking for trouble.
It's high.
Amazing. My brother falls ill a lot and keeps weird friends. My God tells me he's into drugs. How do I know now that I'm miles away from him? Now, the thing about this is there are times when even when you do all the checklist, it might not be that he may be doing drugs. If your gut is telling you that he's doing drugs, you might need to take him for a UDT. A UDT is a urine drug test, just to ascertain. You cannot see someone and be sure the person is doing drugs and you say, oh, he's doing drugs, definitely, so this is what the problem is. No. You may need to take him for a UDT, have the conversation, ask him the questions. If he denies it, you can please take him to have a UDT. Ask him, if you say you're not doing drugs, would you mind if we actually go and do a drug test? Because this is what I think is going on with you. Even though when you are ready to do that drug test, when you're asking him that question, be very ready to do the drug test. Because if you let him know too long before you do the drug test, they have a way of beating drug tests these days. Absolutely. So you must be ready. You must be armed with it, and you can get an interventionist, somebody that can come and tell them, make them know that they need help and they need to get help. And now, as soon as you are ready to get help, send them immediately for help. No wasting of time, because the drug user, once they have a moment when they can change their mind, you can't get them back there. So if you can get them to agree to go and get help immediately, take advantage of it. Have this facility ready, take them there immediately. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. Yes, exactly. That question. Coach Wendy, is it possible for us to have Coach Tega some handles?
Oh, sure. Why not? Please, Coach Tega, help us share it in the private chat so that we can put it on the screen so that people will be able to. We'll also share her Instagram handle so that you'll be able to follow her on Instagram. But we'll share, if her number is available to contact her, of course, why not? We'll share it with you. We want more help. I wish we can have 1,000,001 people, helping people, through this. Honestly, thank you so much, ma'am. This has been so amazing.
Okay. For the Intentional Parent Academy, especially the Inner Circle, please look at the text scrolling on your screen and make sure to call or send a WhatsApp message to that number, and you'll get much more information. Coach Tega, back to you.
Okay, my 23-year-old stays 80% glued to the phone and living room light off. Okay, you want to check what's going on the phone. You can actually, take the phone and go through the history. You want to check what that is. You want to check. If you are worried, then check. If it's something that you wrote out here, that means it's something that is actually on your mind. It's something that you're uncomfortable about. I think you want to check. A 23-year-old actually is an adult. Yeah. So you can have the conversation. Yes, you can have the conversation, because some 23-year-olds are married already. Some are about to get married. So you can't tie her to a tree and flog her. If she was in her husband's house, her husband is the one that will have to, she will have to deal with that. She's old enough to have a child. My mother had a child at that age. So you want to have a conversation, woman to woman conversation. You want to have the conversation and trust that she'll tell you, and try not to overreact, like I said again.
Thank you all so much. I wish we could take all the questions, but we can't take all the questions. That's why the Inner Circle is there. We can't do everything in this conference. It's not possible. So please get ready for Inner Circle program 2022. You need to join in. Thank you so very much, Coach Tega. It has been amazing having you. Thank you so very much. And over to you, Coach Wendy.
Thank you so much, Coach Tega. And I remember the very first time that I met Coach Tega, and the first thing that ran through my head was, why is she doing this? Are there too many issues, about this? And I started to get deeper into, the drug system. I remember one of those days, somebody had shared in the group on Facebook and had said, all these drug things, they are not real. They just don't happen everywhere. All these things people are saying. I could see her literal with fire, responding. It was actually quite an emotional, time. And then she reached out to me that day and she said, parents are not ready to have this conversation. It hit me so badly. And I knew at the time when she said that to me, I knew that seriously we were not ready. We were still God forbidding. We were still praying on the altar. We were still delivering people. I know that if this were to be a deliverance service, you would have shared this service to 1,000,001 parents to come and join. Because, hey, that's what it is. You want miracles. But unfortunately, these miracles don't just come. If your child, you do not have help. I heard when David was saying, he said something that struck me. David could speak to his parents, yet his parents didn't have the prerequisite knowledge to help him. It's one thing to stay connected to your child. It's another thing to even know what to do for the child. They're not the same.
Get
They're not the
educated.
same. So equipping yourself, exactly. Equipping yourself. Myself, I've gone through, a lot of these things, and I'm going really high. By the way, TIP is a huge supporter of drug, addict movements and all of that. I believe that if we can, push out this narrative, if we can not just educate, but also get educated ourselves, we're going to change a whole lot. And we're going to save a whole lot of children. And in that session, I said to the parents in the inner circle when David's session was going on, I said again, on the altar of ignorance, children are being slaughtered daily by parents without even knowing it. Because simply put, we're ignorant of what should or what shouldn't be. Coach Tega, we're still waiting for your handle, your number, so that we can put on the screen and people can reach out to you. A lot of people are, asking us where they can reach you. Please share that on the private chat right in the StreamYard broadcast so that we can project it. Please follow Coach Tega. She does a whole lot. I've been in a program, that she did a rally, and in fact, I had tears right in my eyes, seeing a lot of the work that go into actually having this whole system done. Again, this conference is not free. I'm going to say it again and again. People have paid for you to be here. People have made sacrifices for you to be here. Osa is streaming live all the way from Canada. Osa is one of our team members. And, you can imagine, Osa is a medical doctor. You can imagine all Osa have left to actually be here. So please be grateful. Tega Omogo is a very busy person. In fact, sometimes I look at her, I'm like, she and David are the only drug, people that I know that are really into this, helping people and all of that. How do you cope? These are busy people, yet they are here, trying to push out a narrative. The best that you can do is to take this message to heart and run with it. Share it with a parent who needs to actually get these things and run with it. Let's not be laden with prayer is good, but trust me, the Bible says that it is the people that do not have knowledge that perish. So it is our lack of knowledge that is going to make us perish and our children perish. Losing 7 years is a lot. Losing 13 years doing drugs is a lot. So we need to actually be on our toes. Parenting is not for the lily-livered. Parenting has gone on another level right now as we speak. You've heard it yourself. I don't think there's anything more that we can say. We've seen Coach Tega's details, email, everything right here. We're going to share that right on our screen so that you will be able. Coach Tega, can you help me just post it as one so that we'll be able to just project it as a one chart, please? Thank you, ma'am. So you've heard it. If you want to reach Coach Tega, you can follow her at Back to Light Foundation. That's the name of her foundation. You can also support the foundation. Don't just follow. These people do a lot of work that need a lot of support. Trust me. I've been to a lot of the programs that Tega have run. They were free and all of that. When you attend free things, ask yourself, what can I do to make it a lot more better? That's how to actually grow a system. It's not by saying, all of us, we've done this and all of that. No. There are people putting in their lifetime, savings to these things. There are people putting in their time to these things. There are people putting in their energy, their talent. I like the way that Coach Eden said it. If you have access to someone's talent, you need to be grateful. Access isn't free. Access is not free. So you need to understand that and run with this. All right. If you take a look at my screen in a moment, you're going to see all the details on how to actually reach out to Coach Tega. We're also going to be sharing all of this right in the Telegram community so that you would be able to also follow, right? And most importantly, tell a parent about this. If you have been here from Friday till Monday and you have not told 1, 2, 3 people, 4 people, 5, 10, the way you share those streams of prayer early in the morning where you share on Facebook, is the same way you should be sharing things that actually give us knowledge in this way. I wish I can bring everybody. I wish I can bring everybody to actually come on the screen. But we all need everybody to be able to do this all together. All of us need all hands on deck. TIP can't do it alone. Back to Light Foundation can't do it alone. We need every single parent. If you say that it's not going to happen to you, unfortunately, your children are still going to be out in the world. So there
True.
are lots and lots of things to consider. That's why we are putting up this movement. Thank you again, Coach Tega. We do not take your presence for granted. Thank you so much for doing this. And we
Thank you.
love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And please,
Thank you
what
so
will be your last words for parents this evening as we round up?
I wrote something in the chat room already. I said if you are overindulgent, you are actually putting your children at risk. If you don't remember anything I said today, remember the overindulgent parenting style. That is what made someone lose her only child. She waited for 20 years to have. She was 60, and then she asked me, where do I start from now? So we don't have to start asking those salient questions. So we don't start asking ourselves those. So you don't start cursing the God that you are saying God forbid about. When we say God forbid things, when you have overindulged your child and the child probably now overdoses and dies or has brain injury or is in ICU, you will start to curse the God who gave you the child and gave you the child and the brains to help this child. Educate yourself so that you don't put your child at risk.
Educate yourself so that you do not put your child at risk. I think that's so profound. That is it for me. That is a takeaway for me. Go and learn what to do. There is always what to do. Don't kid yourself. There are people who can help you. Parenting is all about the resources that you can pull together to help you. Allow help you. I like the way Coach Sam says it. Allow help you. You cannot parent a whole human being all alone by yourself. You need to be helped. You need to be helped. Thank you again, Ose. Thank you so much for bringing out your time to actually do this for the Academy. Thank you
Thank you
so much,
very
Coach
much, Coach
Tega.
Wendy.
We love
Thank
you
you.
all. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right. So see you again at 7:30, where
I'm
we
still on.
are going to be having Cynthia Obuleze. All right. And Cynthia Obuleze will be taking on sex education. How do you sex educate your child like a pro, right? We did a challenge recently, and I'm sure that you want to get some tips. How do you put all of that together? And by the way, our next speaker is also a Yada. Oh, we raise giants. No. We don't just throttle, we throttle on every angle, right? She's a Yada.
Absolutely.
She's going to be here bringing us blessings from the inner circle. Thank you so much for doing this with us. See you at 7:30 for the last session. And thank you, Ose. And do have an amazing evening.
Bye.
Coach Wendy Ologe. My name is Mrs. Bukola Rhodes Elizabeth. I live and work in Lome, Togo. I'm a Nigerian. I have 5 children, and I joined the inner circle precisely in March 2021, and that's about 5 months now. And since then, I've learned a lot. My testimony is this: that I'm a yeller, great yeller, but now my yelling has reduced to like 80% if I have to appraise myself. Secondly, my testimony is that for the past 16 years, for the first time, myself, my husband, and our children were going on a holiday to bond together. Then the lessons I've learned in inner circle is that I've gotten a better parental understanding and knowledge, and I've known that intentionality should be key in everything I want to do. Then I've also learned that I have to have family value, mission, and vision, and I have to follow through. Then why must you be in inner circle? Inner circle is a place to get information, time-bound information, knowledge, and to know that parenting is about you, parents, not the children, and also to develop yourself in the area of reading and reviewing after reading. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.
Hi everyone, my name is Maume Ajoke Tunde Balogun. I joined the Inner Circle in January 2021. Before I joined, my emotions was all over the place. I could shout and yell so much. No defined structures, no routines, no limits set for my daughter. 6 months down the line, I can make bold to say yelling has reduced drastically now. Structures, routines, and limits in place. I have read 6 books and currently on the 7th. Wow! In which we've had powerful reviews week in, week out, month in, month out. Beautiful. I have been able to build a daily affirmation structure for my daughter, built great esteem for her, honed her reading skills, that we now have a budget for books monthly that currently seems not enough again. Very interesting, and I'm enjoying the beautiful ride. Our family mission, vision, tagline was created, and we are working seriously to achieve our set objectives for the year 2021. I am so confident in discussing issues of LGBTQ, porn, and have sexual conversations which have yielded beautiful and meaningful results between me and my 10-year-old daughter. The Inner Circle has taught me how to make monthly targets, themes, and break it down weekly, daily, and set timeline for achieving them. I am confident, yes, really confident of raising a balanced child with all the webinars, group chats, discussions, and general relearnings happening to me in the Inner Circle of TIP. Thank you, Coach Wendy, for making this happen. I wouldn't have thought I would be able to achieve all this. Yes, join the Inner Circle. We others. Now we the win.